Today's review comes from Verdant, and this is a brand new beer called Tiny Science. It is a collaboration with New Zealand hops, but what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to fan favourite Verdant, and this is a collaboration with NZ hops called Tiny Science. It's a 6.5% IPA, and we have Nectaron on the hop side. We have Nelson Sauvin, Motueka, Nectaron and Superdelic on the cold side. So lots of New Zealand hops, but not your normal sort of Nelson, Sauvin, Motueka, but obviously they have got those in. But we've got Superdelic and Nectaron, the sort of new kids on the block. And they bring a little bit more than your normal sort of, your grape, gooseberry, melon, that sort of stuff, kiwi fruits. There's a bit more to them, I think. And I think that they are, that we're getting them in more and more beers now. Barley, wheat and oats, the normal, but actually there isn't any malt. It's actually barley and oats. Yeah, barley and oats. So let's crack it open, get it in the glass and see what it's all about. I've just had, you've probably seen the review, Glimmer Double IPA. That got better as I drank it. I mean, it was a highly recommended beer. Check out the review of that because that was a really good beer. And I feel like I'm spoiling myself because I've got quite high hopes for this as well. Obviously, New Zealand hops are my favourite. Verdant make great beers. I like Nectaron and Superdelic because they're bringing something a bit different to the old New Zealand stuff. And let's see what we've got. Well, beer in a glass. We've got a beautiful golden, thick, hazy looking beer. 2 fingers, and I'd say that's fairly compacted head there. Got a few loose bubbles, but I think that looks pretty damn good. I poured it a little bit aggressively, but I think that looks pretty good in the glass. Let's see what the aroma's like. Oh yeah, all the Nelson Sauvin, the grape, the gooseberry, grapefruit, melon, that sort of lemongrass, slightly savoury. Oh, smells pretty good. Nelson is dominating this. But let's tuck in. Cheers, everyone. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's what you'd expect from a good Verdant beer. Soft carbonation, smooth, medium, almost creamy mouthfeel. But there's no lactose in this beer. Lots of that sharpness of grape, lime. Well, actually, grape's not really sharp, but the lime and citrus comes through, and grapefruit, I should say. Grapefruit and lime. But there's lots of grape and gooseberry as a flavour. Nelson Sauvin is a big hit. I'm not really getting much of that. See, Nectaron, I think, gives it a little bit more of a peachy, tropical flavour. But I'm not really getting that too much from this. For me, it's all about Nelson Sauvin. There's a hint of something a little bit more sort of stone fruit, tropical. I've got a mark on my glass. I keep seeing that on the screen. I'm going to wipe that off because I'm a professional, don't you know? There we go, that's better. Yeah, it's very heavy on the Nelson Sauvin, but obviously we've got Nectaron on the hot side. So you would have thought that the Nectaron is the sort of leading hop. But I'm getting more grape and gooseberry. I'm getting lime come through from the Motueka. There's a subtleness of something else, but it's not peach or tropical, really. It's just another flavour that's holding back a little bit the Nelson Sauvin. But it's smooth, and, it's Verdant. They make good beers. I think I've said it on a previous review. I've never had a bad Verdant beer. Never. I've never had. I love Polly's, but I've had bad Polly's beers, and I love Daya, and I've had a lot. Well, certainly recently, not great beers. Probably nothing bad, but not great. Polly's, I've had a couple of things that weren't really up to snuff. I don't think. Certainly they're supermarket beers, but the likes of Verdant and Daya, they're not in supermarkets. I'm sure if they were, their beers in supermarkets wouldn't be as good. But yeah, I mean, this is still up there with. I mean, Verdant like New Zealand hops. They use them a lot. It's a very good IPA with New Zealand hops. You like those New Zealand hops, you're getting it. I'm not getting much of the Nectaron Superdelic from this. I'm getting more of the Nelson and the Motueka. And I feel like I've had lots of IPAs with those hops in them. And compare with, say, like the double gold top beer from Track. As much as it's good, it's not elevating itself in terms of beers from Verdant or anyone else really. It's still a very good beer, and I know it's a very good beer, but I suppose I want more from my Verdant beers now. I want to be sort of really excited about it. And this is just a very solid, good IPA with New Zealand hops. But there's nothing up there that's making it, giving me the wow factor. But it's still a very good beer, so let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Tiny Science. This is from Verdant and New Zealand hops. It's good. Nectaron, Nelson Sauvin, Motueka, Superdelic. Some great hops. Verdant make great beers. It is a good beer. It's a great beer, in fact, but not quite as good as some of the best Verdant beers, and the scores will probably represent that. So let's go through them, starting with aroma. Appearance, flavour, value for money. This was £5.30 for this beer. And finally, my overall experience. Trying the scores up, yeah, I feel a little harsh, and it may be because I've had a very good beer before this, but this is still a very good beer, and we got a total score of 79. It's just not quite into the highly recommended, but still recommended. If you like New Zealand hops and you've had beer from Verdant before, it's a good beer. It's a very good beer, and it's up there with Verdant's good beers, but it's not elevated to greatness. And Verdant, unfortunately, they've got a high bar that we've got to sort of get over, and this is not quite doing it. It's enjoyable, and I do like it, and I'm sure if I drank this one first tonight, and it was my first beer of the night, I probably would have gushed a bit more about it. But I know that they can do slightly better than this. And so 79, I think, is a fair score. So let me know if you had any recent Verdant beers. Have you had, I think Verdant are making a lot of beers. I'd say heavily making beers with New Zealand hops. And I'm sure there's people out there, as crazy as it sounds, that don't like New Zealand hops. So they're probably not drinking as much Verdant these days. But let me know in the comments what you think of Verdant, because they still are the top brewery in the UK. Are they my top brewer? I still probably say, because I've never had a bad beer from them, so they've got to be up there with, with the top beers. But you get an expectation, and then you drink it, and you think, yeah, this is good. This is a really nice beer. It's a good beer, but I want something a little bit special from them, and I haven't had that from them for a while. But let me know if you've had anything from Verdant that's really blown your socks off. Let me know in the comments. And until the next one, well, you know what you're going to do. Drink good craft beer and keep on rocking. Oh, and like the video and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And until the next one, we'll see you then.